Hello everybody, the Nameless Narcissist here once again, a simple man diagnosed with NPD, trying to give you the facts on narcissistic personality disorder and tell you some of the things that go on in my head. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, but keep in mind I am no clinician, so I can only speak to my own experiences and the studies that I read. We'll see about that now. Anyways, so envy. I'm pretty sure this is I know it's in one of the diagnostic criteria, obviously. But I think this is a great example of what makes a personality trait pathological. I've talked about this a little bit, especially in replying to people's comments, because obviously everybody feels envy, right? Everybody at some point in their life is envious of somebody. And in a lot of situations that might be justified. And so I see people being like, oh, well, that's normal, right? And the thing is, a lot of things about pathological personalities are normal. It's just and there's a lot that isn't as well. But, why am I burping so much? Jesus, people are going to think I'm drunk. Anyways, but people are going, but yeah, everyone feels envy. So it's like, what makes that pathological? And per the DSM-5, it's the all-pervasiveness of it, which means it's present in every situation in my life, every context, everywhere. And it's really funny because I always, to me it doesn't make sense. The idea that somebody would have something that I don't have, and I wouldn't envy it. Actually, a big strategy that I use to kind of, in a way, make light of the symptom and also still be honest with people, is I literally tell people I'll literally tell them that I'm envious of whatever the fuck they have. I'll see somebody's house and I'm like, oh, I'm so envious of this. This is so cool. And to me, that's like praise and admiration and being envious of somebody. I would take that very, very flatteringly. I'm not sure if other people take it like that, if I'm being honest. For the normal people out there, would you guys like that? Do you guys like that? I feel like that's flattering, right? But anyways, it's literally everything though. Hell, I went to my friend's apartment recently, and I was like, I literally own a house, and I'm like, oh, this apartment's so cool, it's so quaint, I wish I had an apartment like this, crap. I find a reason to be envious about everything. When I was first becoming awake to my disorder, I was talking to somebody with BPD, and I guess we had this in common. But a great example is whenever I see somebody, and it could be just a group of friends hanging out, right? And a girl's flirting with some guy, even if they're a couple, I'll be like, why isn't she paying attention to me? Am I not good enough? What the fuck does she think she is? She should want me, and so I'm literally envious of the fact that anybody is getting attention. Especially of the romantic kind, because there has a certain connotation to it about levels of worth. Another funny example is I have a friend that has schizoaffective disorder, and I once was talking to her, and I was like, I'm really envious of your disorder because at least you have symptoms that look like symptoms. I just look like an asshole. And I remember going to the bathroom and thinking about it for a second. I was like, I was really just envious of schizoaffective disorder, wasn't I? I was envious of a schizophrenic for their disorder. What is wrong with me? Because I didn't see the envy for a long time. And apparently I treat it pretty covertly, if I'm being honest. My therapist, when we were going through diagnostic criteria and diagnosing me and shit, she pointed out that, because I was like, I'm not really envious of people. And she was like, yeah, but you think people are envious of you? And I was like, that is true. Because that's the other side of it, right? We project that we assume everybody else is always envious. And we are often motivated by our envy to do bad things sometimes. So if somebody's upset with me or mad at me or cuts me off or whatever, I'm like, oh, they were just envious of me. That's why, because that's the thing that would motivate me. And that's not cool, obviously. But it's shocking. It really is. The degree in which anybody can have anything, and I'll be envious of it. And to deal with that envy sometimes, obviously, I'll be like, oh no, the thing I have is actually better. Blah, blah. That's where the one-upping in my mind comes from, is that trying to cope with that envy. Because it's not pleasant. Envy is not a pleasant feeling. And as a feeling, I feel a lot more unconsciously and just cognitively, if that makes sense. It's just oh, logically I'm envious of that. The emotion itself, I'm far more removed from. It's I covet it, right? I want it, and I think I deserve it compared to them. But it's not I don't get a physical sensation usually. I'm not sure, dude, wait, is envy I guess I have felt envy as a physical sensation. Maybe I don't feel envy as much as I think. I'm envious of people who don't feel envy as much. That's another thing. Just like the envy I feel towards normal couples for the fact that they are able to connect, for the fact that they are happy. I'm envious of normal people all the time because I'm like, oh, they don't have to suffer like, and there's a little bit of a martyrdom to it, isn't there? They don't have to suffer like I do. They can actually connect to people, and these are obviously like, these are reasonable things for me to covet to some degree, but how I relate to it is obviously unhealthy and like, oh, poor me, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, like, I think it's kind of fair. Like, this is a little thing I've always thought about NPD. It's like, oh, a feeling of uniqueness and stuff like that. It's like, well, and like they can't be understood except by other special people. It's like, well, we can't really be understood. And then like with envy in terms of like coveting a healthy relationship, it's like, well, wouldn't you if you were in this boat? I'm not saying I should relate to it the way I do or act out in the ways that I do because of it. And maybe that's more of what the pathological portion of it is that's not acceptable, at least in my mind. But I think it's kind of natural that we'd be a little envious. Yeah, just a little short video on envy. I hope all of you have a good day. Take your fucking meds and like, comment, subscribe, whatever.